Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's your boy DREWSKIWOOSKI, the DREWSKIWOOSKI Show. Stats and facts, call it whatever the fuck you want. But today, we are bringing the stats. Well, I am. I am your host, DREWSKIWOOSKI, the bald and bearded one. This right here is brought to you by Dead Serious Radio. I swear, every time that music get me going, playoffs. Boy, oh boy. I have some things that I want to discuss today. Today I am going to get into what happened to the Los Angeles Lakers. Excuse me there. I can't get this mic right to save my life. So I'm going to talk about what happened to the Los Angeles Lakers. We're going to kick it off. We're going to kick it off with them, okay? Secondly, I want to talk about Joel and James Harden coexisting in Philadelphia, coming up on a playoff run that I personally think that the city of Philadelphia needs more than any other city. It's one of those get the monkey off your back type deals. So I'm gonna get into that. Anybody seen Ben Simmons? I'm honestly wanting to know what's going on with him. I'm gonna talk about the Cavs' surprising season. It's kind of funny. Lakers, no playoffs. Cavaliers, young up-and-coming roster. They'll be in the play-in tournament in the East, but we'll get into that here in a bit. Who would you take, Luka or Ja? We'll also get back to that. And finally, we're going to round out this show at the end, but we're going to get into Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods making his return to competitive golf. Not only that, he's making his return at Augusta. So, for my few golf fans out there, we got something coming for you. So, do we blame Russell Westbrook? I've been listening to a lot of sports radio all day today, and all I'm hearing is they're trying to stay away from blaming Russ. And I heard a post game interview that Russell gave last night after they lost. I believe they lost to I forgot who they lost to. They've been losing so many goddamn games. I honestly forgot who they lost to, but I knew that with that loss and a win by the Spurs, and the Spurs actually beat the Nuggets in Denver. They beat them pretty handily by about 19 points to knock the Lakers out of there. So my question is, are you blaming anyone? Who do you blame? Frank Vogel. You're just gonna get axed just because it's not really going to be anything personal. That team it was built. The way that team was built. It was a lot of 1-year contracts, but the way the team is built is like you're going to see this same team for a few years, and I don't know if Laker fans are okay with that. This is almost, you're going to have to pull a lot of strings, a lot of major changes, and then you're going to end up with another group of guys who don't have chemistry, a bunch of names that have been thrown together, and this is how we see LeBron's career ending. The fact that when LeBron was on his streak of not only playoff finals appearances, you're starting to see the decline, but if you look at it from his play, you'll say, "Oh no, this guy is, he's having the time of his life." In his words, the finals run, 8 out of 9 years, or 9 years in a row. Then we have where he misses, he falls out of the playoffs in the first round. And then you just have a team that misses the playoffs altogether. So there's been a steady decline. In my opinion, as most will say, Father Time is undefeated, and that team was basically put together on the backs of a lot of guys who are on their last legs here in the league. So playoffs, boy, there was a bet that was itching me here in Vegas. The Lakers over or under for the season coming into this season. And I believe the day before Westbrook was put on the team, it was around 50, 51 wins, and it went up. They said Westbrook was worth 3 or 4 wins. Well, we see how that turned out. So, as a fan of LeBron, this is inevitable, but he's not Superman, and I think we need to get used to the Lakers in a scramble mode. I don't know if they're going to be able to exactly. The thing is, those fans and that franchise is so used to greatness that it's just like they're calling this the worst season in sports history, the worst failure in sports history, and I'm like they're probably not even going to get a high lottery pick. They'll probably pick 10th or 11th. And what that gets you is remains to be seen. So basically, like I said, get used to seeing this. Westbrook has been his name has been thrown out there in many deals. He has an expiring contract, which makes it a little bit more enticing for someone to take that on. But that is a $47 million hit if you were to take on Russell Westbrook. So, going to the East, the Sixers. We watched that team basically just live on the edge throughout that whole playoffs last year, and they ran into an Atlanta team that was pretty much playing with house money, and Atlanta beat them in 7 games. And we all know Ben Simmons and his moment that he had. But what does that have to do with Joel and James Harden? Well, they gotta get that out of everybody's memory. They had a fairly decent season this year. I believe right now, as we speak, they are the 2 seed in the East. So if the Cavaliers were to handle their business in the first game of the play-in tournament, possibly would match up against them. And the Cavaliers we'll get to them later, but the Cavaliers, as of right now, are missing a few key components. Tower City is not available. That is Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. But we'll get to that in a minute. What does this mean for... See, the more losing you do, the harder it's going to be to win. I know that sounds like a cliche or whatever. It makes perfect sense. But what I'm saying is that the more, the bigger the hole you dig, it's going to be way, way harder, just to get you out of that. So Philadelphia's 76er fans are kind of like, I don't want to put them in the category of Cleveland Browns fans, but they're deprived. They're hungry. They're thirsty, all of the above. And with 2 guys, I won't even say 2 guys, particularly James Harden. We've seen James in these spots so many times, and he comes up colder than a ham sandwich. So, boy, it's going to be interesting. They're running that high pick and roll a lot. Is it the hardest thing to defend? Probably for those 2 players together. That I would say that is a match made in heaven for them. Can Doc Rivers do what he's infamously not known for? And that is making adjustments. Coming out of the timeout and being able to have something together that'll get his guys in the win column. So I'm gonna be watching them. That's gonna be very interesting to me to see what goes on there. And like I said, if it all ended today, and the Cavaliers got in, it'll be Cavs Sixers first round. Speaking of formerly of the Sixers, where is Ben Simmons? Where is he? Oh, sorry about that. When the Nets made this trade, there's a thing called a physical. I need to know what they were comfortable with, what they foresaw, what their plans were. Were they knowing all along, hey, it's not about mental health anymore. Now we're just going to talk about a back injury. Did this back injury exist while he was in Philadelphia? Did he hurt himself in practice? See, these are things that are not being divulged, and it would help us be able to put this together and make some type of sense of it. There's a mystery to Ben Simmons right now. So if he's to come back, and the thing is, I think he's done for the year. If the Nets get into the playoffs, I just don't, for a team that was struggling to get it going, a team that was better on the road this year. Last I checked, they were 23-17 away from Barclays Center. So 6 games over, and I believe there were 4 games under 500 while playing at home. So this team is not clicking on all cylinders by any means. They're a team that is one KD shoe size away from going to the finals last year. And this could all just be changing. That would possibly have changed their approach in the offseason, but we are where we are. That's a scary team. You know, KD can turn it on, but I've watched games, and like the Atlanta game just recently, last week, he drops 55, a career high for KD, in a loss. They couldn't get over the hump. So if you throw Ben Simmons right into that mix, right at the beginning of the playoffs, I just don't see that being something that would prove to be healthy for this team. So I mentioned earlier, Cleveland Cavaliers, boy, it's just, first off, this is the first winning season without LeBron James since 1997-98. Shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's my hometown team. For all of you that don't know that, the Cavaliers, they did it the right way. The Cavaliers did it the right way. I got to do something about that there. They did it the right way. They did it through the draft with not a lot of high draft picks. This was a team that was constructed on defense, a few great trades, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, who's one half of the Tower City there in Cleveland. This team, they're just a bunch of guys that play hard. I can't really. I would say that it's Garland's team, but it's really Evan Mobley is young. He's in his rookie year, and he was the 3rd pick last year. So just to give you an idea of where the Cavaliers were just a year ago, this team made a lot of strides in one year. Salute to JB Bickerstaff. He's doing a great job coaching that team. And I'm just really looking forward to the play-in. I get to watch my guys play at home at Rockets Morgan Fieldhouse. So I'm sure that'll be a nice raucous environment for whatever team comes in there. And right now, if that were today, it will be the Atlanta Hawks. So we will see. We will see about the Cavaliers. Luka or Ja? They have two totally different paced games, but they'll both make you look ridiculously silly. Who would you rather have if you could build your franchise on either one of these guys, whether it be Ja Morant or Luka Doncic? I believe Luka's in his third year, and Ja in his second. For me, oh boy, they're my two favorite players to watch. Luka gives me a lot of, and this is not on both ends of the floor, but he gives me a lot of like Kawhi, where he's so under control where he can lose you at a tortoise pace. We've seen Kawhi just, with that pull-up jumper, he releases the ball at the highest point. Everything just always flows with his game. And his step back is vicious. He has obviously has a better shot right now than Ja, but Ja is must-see TV. I actually went out to Meadows Mall a few weeks ago, and I had the intent of buying a Ja Morant jersey, and they were all sold out. So that just shows you where he's at. But if you guys want to leave in the comments, speaking of leaving in the comments, once again, this right here is brought to you by Dead Serious Radio. Do me a favor, real quick, y'all. Like, share, subscribe. I want to give a super salute to everybody that has watched this video. Guys are really keeping me going, giving me a reason to want to do this. I want to be y'all sports guy. I want to be the guy that drops some, some of these little sports gems that I be holding on to, along with having my panels. Shout out to Infamous Knowledge, my co-host, motherfucking dog, Jay Gatz, the CEO of Dead Serious Radio, and the rest of the gang. But I'm just really glad to be doing this, and I'm appreciative of everybody that has given me their time, that sits on YouTube or wherever you watch a clip on Instagram or whatever, sharing the videos. I love it, and I love y'all for that. So I just wanted to take that minute to give thanks to the people that like watching me talk, along with my co-host, Infamous Knowledge, aka Parrish. Don't get it messed up. But yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you to y'all for that. And before we close out, like I said, this weekend is gonna be special. Starting tomorrow, what will be 7:49 a.m. for me, Tiger Woods is teeing off at Augusta. First competitive golf that he'll be in, competitive golf competition that he'll be in since that horrific accident. Since that horrific accident that he was in. I barely touched that. I don't even know what the hell's going on with that. We have to get a new court. So yeah, I'm really happy for Tiger Woods. I'm happy for the game of golf. That'll give me a reason to tune in, and it'll be fun. So with that being said, let me make sure we do this the right way, y'all. With that being said, that's how I like to close this shit out the right way. It's been fun, but it's time for Andrea's son to run. I like doing this podcast shit, y'all. This is really what I love to do. Thank you for your time. Have a good night, y'all.